Hi, this is Mason.
We have sort of a problem here.
And you're watching the 315 with Brian Higgins Presents.
You apparently didn't put one of the new cover sheets on your TPS reports.
Transfer Portal Syracuse.
You see, we're putting the cover sheets on all TPS reports now before they go out.
With Brian Higgins and Jordan Capozzi.
Did you see the memo about this?
Capozzi.
If you could just go ahead and make sure you do that from now on, that would be great.
Capozzi.
And I'll go ahead and make sure you get another copy of that memo.
Capozzi.
We need to talk about your TPS reports.
With this week's TPS Report.
If you could go ahead and try to remember to do that from now on, that'd be great.
Here's Brian and Jordan.
All right.
Oh, here we are. It's a Thursday night. It's TPS Report 17. My co-host this way on the actual screen here is Jordan. This way in real life in the room I'm sitting in is, well, not in real life. He's in the TV in Italy in the room I'm sitting in, but he's like the co-chair of picking the new AD. Mike Tirico was just on the TV over my shoulder. I'm sure we'll get into that at some point today. Jordan has survived the power surge inside the dome last night, and he's made it. What's up, man?
That was just the weirdest game. We'll talk about it, but I do like all the comments I got. That my favorite one was make sure to give Syracuse a call and make sure they cover that unpaid balance. Yeah, it was like the Jordan Capozzi crossover event. I love it.
It was. There was nothing more Jordan than what happened last night. Tossing Chris Bell, and it's just a good fun time for all involved. And Jordan, we've been doing this since Saturday, so we got to kick off the show with this tonight. It's our opening menu brought to you by our friends at the Thompson Road Tavern. Jordan, if you were at the Thompson Road Tavern right now, and I hesitate to say this because you might ditch and go to the Thompson Road Tavern right now. Like right now, at this very second, at the Thompson Road Tavern, it's wing night.
Oh, let's go.
$7 orders of wings. Dine-in only. Wing night. It started at 5, so it's possible somebody ate all the wings, but it is wing night. And their special today was scalloped potatoes au gratin with ham. Like that's just coming out all classy and whatnot. Like you're just like, oh, you're like wing night. All right, I understand wing night. You scalloped something interesting. Do tell more. So great to have our friends at the Thompson Road Tavern on with our opening menu. And what are we going to get into today? We'll probably spend a decent chunk here talking about last night, just because it was, I mean, yesterday in itself, from John Wildhack announcing his retirement to by the time the lights were turned off on purpose at the end of the game last night. Just a zany day in Syracuse sports. We'll get into that. Now we got athletic director search to go along with chancellor search to go along with still probably a men's basketball coaching search. We got a massive lacrosse game tomorrow. We got a lot of stuff to get into in some order. And as always, link pin top of the chat. If you want to join the show today, feel free to chime in at any point on any of those topics. So there we are, our Thompson Road Tavern opening a menu here today. We should start last night, right, Jordan? But there's just, I don't even know where to start last night. Where you were in the building. Where does Jordan Capozzi, the center of last night's power outage basketball universe, want to start?
First of all, I'll start here. You told me Thompson Road Tavern was going to be a new friend of the program last week, and that menu, this was our discussion when we talked about it. It's just like all these things, you rarely see them on the same menu, but they're all really good things. So very excited.
They just got written up in an extremely positive way on the Syracuse.com for their meatballs. Like there's like, I mean, we're here in a very Italian food town and they're getting meatball kudos. Like that tells you what's going on there. They're like, all right, yeah, watch us au gratin a potato. Yeah, watch this. You thought it was done after we scalloped it. No, we au gratin that thing, and here you go. Like, and then they're like, yeah, we got wings. So stop on out for the wings. Wing and beer specials and everything during all Cuse games. There's a Cuse game tomorrow night, which we'll get to in a bit. Cuse in Maryland 1v2 in Lax. So yesterday was Man, what a straight normal day, round about 1 o'clock. Like we'd been here, like this was in the wind, right? Like it wasn't a surprise this happened, but it's still a surprise when anything officially happens. John Wildhack's retirement gets announced around about 12:31ish in the afternoon. He's on with Stephen Pauly. We get some news out of that nothing's going to happen with the Red till the end of the season, and that John still says he's in charge of that whole thing. And then we get the game, which was, I don't know, but like the first half like happened. I'm like, that's tied. All right, that happened.
Brian, the first half was so weird. Like
it was just like
the first 10 minutes of that game felt more like an exhibition than when there was no scoreboard. I cannot explain it enough. Like there was no energy,
none.
Lightly attended. There was a lake effect snow warning, but come on, who cares?
It was flurries.
Yeah, and like I feel like it was just guys jacking up threes, low effort. It was just very eerie. It was very fitting for the whole day. And in hindsight, it was a precursor to what we were going to experience. Just the weirdest vibe. I'm not saying the weirdest game, but the whole thing was just the weirdest vibe. Like the irony of the whole thing is, besides when Kyan checked in, which cool, that's all good.
That happened.
The power going out, it gave the crowd a little jolt and a little bit of energy that you're not getting in a Syracuse Cal game with what's on the line. Syracuse can tie Cal 5-7, I believe, in the ACC, but just something about the power going out and how weird it was. And everybody was just so taken aback. It really brought energy into the dome that I do think made that whole thing fun, but likely helped Syracuse at the end and win a gut check moment game.
Yeah, I mean, you look at like the way this season has gone, at least to date, like it has not been filled with games you're going to remember for all time, right? Like what memorable has happened this year? Great, you almost beat Baylor. Like nobody's going to remember that in a few years. The Tennessee win was fantastic at the time, but the way the season has unfolded after that, like that has disappeared off the face of the earth. Like at this moment now, like we're at this point where if we ever go back, like now this is the most recent overtime game. It's the most recent double overtime game. It's the most recent 100-point game. And so there's going to be various reasons you got to come back. First time since, or this game is going to get hit from a lot of different directions. And the first thing that's going to happen every time this game gets hit by anyone that was there or remembers or anything like that, that was the power outage game. Like it's got a name, and it turned into a fun game with, I don't know, from 10 minutes to go through the overtimes. But man, it was the power outages. They cued the whole thing. Was what they came back. When did the first one happen? It was like the under 16, maybe under 12. In the second
it was
half?
Early middle of the second half, I believe.
Yeah, because it happened during a TV timeout. So you in the building, there's obviously a stoppage of play. It happens. You're like, oh. They come back from the TV timeout and the audio's out, but the lights are back on. And they're playing, right? So you don't, like, we're sitting there like, what happened? It's like it was a mystery because nobody could tell us because they didn't fix the audio for a few minutes because obviously the audio amongst every other thing got turned off for the television broadcast when the power went out. But man, that like in the building, like the lighting and stuff, like everything had to be bizarre. It looked fantastic by the end with the lights off out top and everything that was going on. The
funniest thing about the whole game to me certainly wasn't Syracuse just missing an unreal amount of free throws. It was Madsen after the game. He says the officials asked them if they wanted to finish the game.
I'm like
look, there are lights, man. There's a backup shot clock. They have them for, I feel like, every game. They have a backup clock. Can you imagine if
and
all
it's
the
like we're in overtime by now?
Can you imagine? There's like, nah, let's go home.
He's like, we flew all the way out here, but that's good. Like Cal kind of came a long way. Like this wasn't a short day trip. They crossed the entire freaking country, and they must be playing around here somewhere on Saturday. Like they came a long way to do this thing, but it's also impossible to tell watching on TV versus the arena because the TV cameras can iris up and it still looks reasonably the same. Like, was it dark, or once like the backup lights come on, was it just like, all right, this is a little bit off?
No, the auxiliary lights, I mean, it was fine. It was really just the scoreboard and all the, different screens weren't in your peripherals, which brought it down. But I mean, you could see clearly. Not that the two players who were available after the game to speak anyway, not that Nate Kings or William Kyle would have complained, but someone asked Nate Kings if it impacted anything, and he said no. A lot of questions.
I'd argue it impacted it positively. Like, both times the power went out. Both times the power went out, Syracuse went on an immediate run. Both times. And then when the lights came back, like when they brought the lights back the first time, Cal got right back in the game. It's like, turn it off! Syracuse is playing better. This is no good. Like, I think Syracuse, I don't know, I mean, it could just be totally tangential, but like, it feels like it sparked him in some way. And hilariously, and I don't think any of us are going to predict this to happen, if for some reason the Orange season just gets on track now, like, they're going to have turned on their season from the moment the lights got turned off, which is just a fantastic metaphor or something for the whole deal. So they got a great built-in storyline if they can go win a big game here in the next week or two.
That would be nice. Now, how much do I believe in that?
Yeah, not much.
Look, they won, and that was awesome. I'm really glad that Nate Kings played well. Now that he's found his shot, it feels like he's just firing on all cylinders, and he's a consistent force. Donnie Freeman just really disappeared until he realized, wow, I have the best combination of length and athleticism on the court, and I'm going to use my reach and long arms to be able to get inside and, extend for layups and crash the offensive glass. And he was the sixth player for Syracuse to get into double figures in that game, I believe. The sixth.
Yes. Starling, Kings,
what are we doing?
George, Kyle, and White Sadiq were already there. Yep. I think George was already there before he got there. George hit that late three in regulation is what got him to double figures. But yeah, I don't think Donnie got to double figures through overtime, right? Is that accurate?
No.
Yeah.
And at one point he was 1 for 5 from the foul line in overtime. It was just...
Yeah, Donnie, 11 of his 16 points were in overtime. The two overtimes.
The whole... Like, he just wasn't good enough. I mean, Nate George, I'd say that was a good Nate George game, not without weird happenings. If we're playing the Evan Miyakawa rankings again, I guess he's the best player now in terms of that team in the player ratings, which is crazy.
What?
Yeah, him and Nate Kings are like mid-30s in the ACC, so whatever. I don't think that's good for those rankings. But yeah, like, I'm glad they did well. I guess you could argue the fact that they won that game with Donnie really only playing well for...
After regulation ended?
Yeah, 20% of it is a positive, but man, I've said this before. I feel like if this team's going to do anything, they need a couple guys in the 20s in regulation every game, even if it's not JJ and Donnie, but you figure one of them's got to be Donnie. So I don't know, and the threes were falling and then they weren't. And it was a really cool game, but I didn't come out of it thinking, okay, this is the start of something. I don't think a lot of people did. It's the novelty. Is that fair?
Yeah, like you come out of the game, and obviously it multiplies with the news of the day, right? And it's like, all right, is this the way Red starts to save his job or something like that? Like, I don't feel any different about the basketball team. Like, I'm happy they won a game. Like, I'm glad they won a game. Like, I don't think any of us wish you. It's not like we're like, oh, I hope they lose out so they fire the head coach. No, it's not what's going on here. I'd love for them to win out, because when people are like, oh, then they'd keep Red. I'm like, well, yeah, but that also means they won out. That's good. Like, I don't think it's going to happen, but if they win out, they're going to win a lot of fun games. Last night was a fun game that until the lights went out, I think the other part of what you said, like, it was quieter than a freaking library in there in the first half. Quieter. Like, it was
awkward.
Dead. Yeah, it was like people were afraid to talk to each other in the stands because you'd hear the whole conversation. It was awkwardly quiet, and I get it. It was empty and weather, and the team, whatever. There was maybe 4,000 people there for a league midweek 7 o'clock tip. This is not 9 o'clock. This is not, yeah, I get it was snowing, but I'm not blaming fans. I understand what the deal is, but this is where we're at right now. There's going to be more than twice as many people in the building tomorrow night for Lax than there were last night. And I feel reasonably in like actual real people, not announced attendance, real butts in seats. There's going to be more than twice as many people there tomorrow than last night. Why? Tomorrow is number 1 versus number 2. Yesterday's a team that hasn't won a ranked v ranked game in the Dome. Hasn't played a ranked v ranked game in the Dome in 12 years. They
played like number 2, Brian.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
They haven't played a ranked v ranked game in the Dome in men's basketball since 2014. They haven't won one since 2014. And it will go figure. Syracuse was number 2 in the country. It was the Duke game. They were 20-0. That's as far back as this goes. That's why people aren't there. But when the lights went out, it like the game had already picked up a little bit. But even people like I'm trying to watch it. And you're like, I think the game's getting interesting, but I can't tell from the external sounds. It's like I think this is getting more enjoyable, but the other stuff that usually tells me that isn't there. When the lights went out, people got involved, and then it felt like something for the last, I don't know, hour of real time, 45 minutes of real time. It was fun watch down the stretch. It was fun.
It was. And here's something I noticed if we're talking about the game, because I mentioned, again, I couldn't have foreseen the lights going out. Contrary to popular belief,
Jordan
nothing to do with it.
Programmed the lights to turn off before he left the
Nothing
office.
To do with it. I thought the biggest pop of the whole game was going to be Kyan checking in, and I noticed something while he was playing, and that didn't look like the Kyan Anthony we've seen all season. I mean, the ball was stopping a little bit. Yes, I believe he hucked up, a couple shots that weren't great, but he was not forcing the action, trying to get to the rim every time he touched it. He was not really searching for his shot. It was interesting. And I don't know if it was, just how the game went. I don't know if it was that he was told, you gotta tone it down. Maybe that was why he didn't play. Maybe it was, we put Zephyr in because he spreads the ball. Coach Autry said that.
We know he's not going to shoot.
Yeah, exactly. So it was interesting. The problem is Kyan's just not doing much on defense. So if he's just doing that, then, what's he there for? But if I recall, he was in, with around 6-ish minutes at the end of regulation. Like, he wasn't just being hidden.
He came back in. He hadn't played the whole second half, I don't think, up until that point. You wonder, like, all right, is it done for the day? But I think it was JJ got a little breather, and they put him in at that point. Yeah, and Melo and Lala were both there last night. No, it's one of these things. Like, can we put the rest? Oh, they're not coming to another game the rest of the year. Well, they were both there at the game. Oh, well, they didn't stay till the end. They probably had somewhere to be. They're busy people with lots of stuff to do. I assume
they did. Well, at least one of them did. I hitched a ride with News Channel 9's Mario Sacco to my car.
Okay.
Shout out the 6-pack. Shout out Higgins and Sacco. Yep. Shout out all of those things. And Kyan and Melo and a couple other people were just standing by the car, and like Melo was spitting games. So
maybe
Melo
they were there. Maybe Melo relocates at some points. I don't know.
I think he's got a little room somewhere.
Okay. I wonder, because I wonder if some of the games where you're like, oh, he left, if he's just relocated because he doesn't want to be going crazy on the sideline or something. I don't know. He was wearing a Puerto Rico hat, very topical, so he had that that going on.
So I can't tell you where he was, but I can tell you he was.
Yeah.
If he left, he came back.
Okay. Well, I just keep assuming he leaves because he's got a plane, he's got somewhere to be, not a Delta. But you're telling me you saw him after the fact, so he just relocated.
Yes, he was there not only after the fact, but after
the
media was leaving, which means he was there, well after the game.
All
so
right.
maybe he left and came back, but I'm pretty sure he's got a little, the Mellow cave somewhere, and he probably watched the end from there. Maybe I don't know.
Maybe he was helping fix he was like plugging in cords. Like, nah, I got this. You back away. He's like, Melo said, let there be light. And they cranked that thing back up. Him and Lala are back there with just like screwdrivers and the soldering iron and something. I don't know. But for all of that crap, like, what is there to it or not to it? I don't know. But the people blow everything way out of proportion. Kyan had not been playing well, full stop. He got benched for a game. Now, did Red fully anticipate the fallout of all of that? Probably not. Because, like, if instead of benching him, he played him for 2 minutes, does that happen? No. But then maybe he doesn't prove the point he's trying to prove to Cayenne. Which, to your point, like, yeah, I don't want to say Cayenne played well last night, but at least, the ball was moving around a little bit, which I think is the whole point of everything right now. Add a Syracuse conspiracy segment, Sean. I mean, our whole shows are Syracuse conspiracy segments most of the time. Like, we gotta add
That's my whole thing.
segments.
I was part of I genuinely thought what might have happened is that, Cayenne had alluded to not being in at the end of the game. Cayenne didn't play. Mello was unhappy. I was kind of sitting there like, is this like are we unhappy? Like, are we not going to see him play? So part of that's on me. But yeah, it was odd just watching him play like that. And the other thing, who is expecting Syracuse to win a game in the hundreds with Tyler Betsy being borderline invisible through the whole game?
Yeah, did he even make a three? Did he score?
Yeah, I don't know what he did, Brian,
2
but
points.
It wasn't a heck of a lot.
It
was William Kyle just like went crazy on the glass, and he really was the catalyst for them starting to go inside. He, I think had 4 or 6 points when they went on a little 7-0 run and kind of got them back in. Nate Kings, for all the shooting he does, he was really getting inside, doing well there. I mean, that was really what they did. I would argue that, I don't know if you call it an in-game adjustment, but it was certainly something that Red Autry went to the team and said, look, you got to get inside. And he talked about it after the game. They're missing a couple of big guys. So good on them. It was just, a weird way to win. Maybe they find something from it. I don't know.
Yeah, it was William Kyle's best game since December, I think. He was outstanding. People keep asking me, is he hurt? Is he hurt? It looked like cramps to me. We haven't heard anything to the contrary.
That's what I've been told by Twitter.
Okay. And Twitter.
Here's what I'll say. He was one of the 2 players in the locker room after the game, so I don't think it was that bad.
Did it look like his Achilles was still attached when he was sitting there? Because somebody asked me if he tore his Achilles. I'm like, what?
No.
He got up and walked away.
They let guys go if they wanted last night. There are players who never do media for Syracuse, whether they're hurt or not, or driving a very nice car. So, if William Kyle was there, I would say it couldn't have been that bad.
Okay, so that's good to hear. Here is perhaps my favorite stat from last night. Chris Bell, 1 rebound.
Stat of the day.
Chris Bell, 1 rebound. I really enjoyed that. And I enjoyed that Chris Bell's 1 rebound in the game was that play where Kyle went down the lane, like cranked it, was going to dunk it. It like flew out of his hands, cracked into the backboard, like ricocheted out and like rolled to Chris standing at the 3-point line. He just bent down and picked it up. 1 rebound for Chris in his return to the dome. Thank you, Kev. Much appreciated.
Shout out, Kev.
And
that is 10 times more dollars than Chris Bell had rebounds last night.
Yeah.
Only I think twice as many as he had missed free throws, if I'm remembering correctly.
What did Chris do? Chris was.
I feel like he was like 6 for 11 from the foul line or something, man.
6 for 10. He came in shooting. I think they said 88%. So that was surprising.
Yeah.
He actually played reasonably well. He had 18 points. He had a.
What up, Kev?
I don't know about you, Jordan. When JJ traveled at the end of regulation, just the way everything is gone, my first immediate thought was Chris Bell's about to hit a shot to win the game, isn't he?
He tried. Didn't it seem like he had the ball? He was getting subbed in it was offense, defense, and it seemed like he got a chance to shoot every damn possession near the end of that game, even with Day-Day Ames being as dominant as one can be, shooting 40% from the field. He took over for a portion. He was 10 for 25, I believe, when the game ended, maybe worse. But at the end of the game, it was Madsen basically let Chris Bell determine that game, whether it was at the foul line, whether it was shooting threes at the end, and that's what he's there for. And it just, it didn't happen for him.
Credit to JJ for the D on Ames on the last possession of regulation. Like, he had that egregious turnover, which is yes on him, and then B on literally everybody else, because I don't know what they were doing, but at some point you got to realize the thing you were trying to do failed. Go help the dude out. And nobody ever helps out a guy that's lost his dribble. Nobody ever goes and helps him, ever. And then he at least D'd up and guarded him the whole next possession.
And let me also say that was great from JJ. You know who the first guy on Syracuse was in that game to stop Ames a couple of possessions in a row, Brian?
Huh?
It was Akir Soiree. He came into the game. He got switched onto him 2 possessions in a row, and he was the first dude to actually stop him from scoring. And it was just 2 possessions, and he's not, a starter quality player, but he just has those little moments, it feels like. And look, whether it was luck, I'm not saying they put him in to guard him, but he got switched onto him 2 possessions in a row or 2 or 3 possessions. Ames did not score. And when a guy is that hot and doing that much, that is massive.
Yeah, I mean, Soiree recently, I mean, heck, I realized they got absolutely their doors blown off in the Carolina game. Soiree was the one that keyed the comeback, whatever we're going to call that. Credit to him. But yeah, I mean, he plays hard all the time when he's I like the idea of him as a backup center. Like that's kind of what you want as a backup center, right? Get in there.
Vibes guy too.
Yeah, not a lot of minutes, get some energy, the whole thing. Sadiq, I was surprised Sadiq didn't get more minutes. I thought he played well. I mean, 10 points in 9 minutes, only missed 1 shot. Like, I know we're probably past the point of being able to save the season. In my initial theory of if the season goes well, it was Sadiq and Cayenne start to add something around this point of the year. Cayenne, whatever. Sadiq, he still needs, he needs an offseason in the weight room, but he's got some you can see the basketball IQ about him. You can see he knows a lot of the things to do. It's just, stop yapping when you do them, and he's got to get stronger. But I like his future. You hope it's with Syracuse, because who the hell knows in this day and age. But I just like the moments. He gives you a moment every game. Then sometimes he fouls out right after that moment. But he gives you the moment, and I like that for his future.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm seeing in the chat, and somebody's going to have to point me to this because I didn't notice it, but Kid Navy, which I'm not sure if I've seen that name a lot. If you're fairly new to this show, appreciate it.
He's a friend of the channel, as you can see in the green.
Okay. Oh yeah, I do see that, and he has a dog in his picture. Bad blood between Donnie and Betsy. What happened that I missed last night?
I don't know.
Betsy just seemed
off
last night. Yeah, like the vibes were very low for him, and you figured, it would have been a Chris Bell versus Tyler Betsy, duel at sundown.
Oh, where they're just like indifferently dueling. Just
yeah.
All right, I guess we got a duel. All right, do you want to? Okay.
I need some clarity on that. I didn't see that. I'll be interested, what the fallout is after the season. Like this team, here's the one thing about them for it maybe not being a tight knit unit. I would say there's not a lot of drama. Like in past years, guys have said things in post game or have this or that. Yeah, and it's like the drama is coming from everywhere but the players themselves, what they're doing. It's maybe what's happening, what decisions are being made for them. It's what the results are. But I mean, the most drama you'll find is Kyan excellent weaving his way into the answers he wants for questions. Like Kyan knows how to answer a question and give the answer he wants regardless of the question. That's the most drama you're going to get. And honestly, that's just a lot of me trying to force it. And nobody will buy it because everybody loves Kyan. But I'm interested what'll come out of this because it's a pretty quiet team for the most part.
Kid Navy says Donnie and Betsy, they're not dapping each other up. There's no dap. Got a dap. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they're just
got a huddle, got a dap.
Yeah, I mean, and then dap when you're in the huddle. And yeah, okay. Well, now Kid Navy, and they subbed in for each other. I mean, you got to dap when you're crossing paths.
That is true.
Now I'm gonna be locked and loaded on this on Saturday. You're gonna have to get the baseline view, Jordan, and the whole thing. All right, so we got Jordan here. We need to know this because as we know, Jordan's day job is with National Grid. the power did go out. That, like, as far as things that must have actually been the talk of your office today, I imagine the power going out across the whole region twice last night probably came up a time or two. Yeah. Did you take blame at work too, or did they just actually tell you what it was?
I don't know. We don't do too much talking. I think I talked to my boss about it a little bit, and he explained what it was. Like he might have like transmitter. I don't know, transmit something. I was
you
kind
have
of
you have transmitters. You've got them. They're
yeah,
important
but
to your
I mean,
industry.
we didn't talk about it much. It was basically just everybody being like, my power went out or mine didn't. But I mean, no, we didn't dive into it. But it wasn't just because they're not paying their bills.
Okay,
I'll tell you that.
because that would have gone through Jordan's department. The other theory, obviously, that's been bandied about is, Wild Hack is retiring. Maybe he's getting a little lax with the bill pay in his retirement. He's just not paying attention to things. It's like you either gotta sign up for the auto pay or get on there every month and fill out that thing. So there we go. But I don't know. Everything, obviously, the Dome's a major building. It has backup systems upon backup systems and the whole deal. 360 Gavendo. That's the light work. Light work, Gavendo. That's it. Come on. My last two bills have been aggressive.
They've been bad, Brian.
Yeah.
I can tell you, it's bad. Everybody's like, yeah, my bill's way higher, and it's like, well, you're using twice as much because it's cold, but yeah, your bill went up too. So sorry.
It's like,
look,
yeah,
I don't control the prices, and I don't get discounts, and I don't get bonuses based on how much people are paying or anything. It's not my fault.
Well, I wish you did. Then I could at least feel some good. Well, at least Jordan got dinner this week because our power bill went. Then we could feel something good about it. All right, so Jordan has officially denied his part in the conspiracy that he turned out the power in the Dome to spur Syracuse basketball on. Maybe we'll get you that Jim Boeheim lie detector, and we'll sort the whole thing out here going forward. All right, so that's the game last night. I mean, just a wild night. I mean, memorable. Realistically, the power going out is the most memorable thing that's happened this season.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's certainly the most memorable thing that's turned out well. Like, most of the memorable stuff is like, oh, they didn't win this game, or oh my God, they lost to Hofstra, or everyone's getting fired, or did you hear what Red said? Level 5 and all this. He actually hasn't said level 5 in a while, so we're rolling along on that.
I'm telling you, man, somebody told him to cut it out.
Either somebody told him or he figured it out himself. Either way, whichever. Thank goodness, because yeah, the less of that, the better. Right now, so we got Jordan here. If you'd like to join the show, link pinned top of the chat. As always, you all know the deal on that. You're all welcome at any time throughout our time together tonight. So that was yes. Go.
Yeah, may I ask you, Brian? We're departing the game, and you mentioned this earlier. John Wildhack, when he was talking about him retiring, said that he's going to be making the decisions, right?
Yeah.
I've been asking everybody this. I've been talking about this since before he announced his retirement. Am I naive? What's up, Big Tuna? Am I naive to think that there's no way that this AD and this chancellor, both of whom, who knows, maybe they both already work at the university. Who knows? That would be very, it's on brand.
It's possible.
They're not just going to walk into a job with John Wildhack's hand-picked next head coach, right? Like, they have to have some input. I feel like a lot of people are sitting there like, oh, why is he making the decision? Like, maybe he has the final say, but I find it really hard to believe, even if they haven't named an interim or acting or next up. People talk, man. Like, am I just thinking of what would make logical sense, or do you agree in the sense that there's no way it's just Wildhack is picking and dumping them on the next person? Well, no way, right?
I mean, obviously this is, layered beyond layered. For one, with any hire of this significance, even if John was not retiring, he would not have unilateral decision-making power over it, with a chancellor and a board of trustees and whatnot. Though obviously would be very much in charge of how things run and things like that. So, but obviously there's other cooks in the kitchen to begin with, and the board's got to approve all this stuff, blah, 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 blah. Where I've been coming at this is almost from the opposite angle where you came at it. You've been coming at it from, all right, what does the person that's going to replace John think that if they did not get to have their say in picking the coach? I've been thinking at it from the angle, what are the potential candidates going to think that they're getting hired by a guy that they're not actually going to get to work for? And how does that affect the candidate pool that, say we did Josh Schertz today on Who's Next. Say you are a guy that's going to have options after this season. Like, if you're in that position and it's not like it's Syracuse or bust, you got choice. Like, are you going to come to a place where you don't know which way the wind is going to be blowing 6 months from now? Or are you going to go to a place that has, that has a vision, has a path, and you know what it is? Now, I think to me here, we're sitting here on the 12th. I looked this up earlier. The Tuesday of the ACC tournament, a.k.a. realistically right now, the first day that can be the last day of the year, is the 10th of March. So the season's over the 10th, 11th, 12th in there, right? Assuming there's a move made with Red, that's either going to happen more likely than not, right? Later that day or the day after is generally how that stuff goes. AKA, it's a month from now. How much, if any, of this other stuff can or will happen in the next month? And it goes to what you were saying. How much of it has already happened and we don't officially know it? Is that rumor? Is that fact? Is it 50%? Is it 80%? I think this next month, as far as getting things organized for the future, my goodness, it's important. Because, to the other point, like I compared earlier, the last time Syracuse was in this situation with new everything, Greg Robinson was the result. And I know some people, well, you already got your Greg Robinson. Yeah, Red's not that bad. It's not great, but come on. You have a month here to set yourself up to avoid a potentially program-sinking disaster. No pressure. You got a month. And can you accomplish all that in a month? Sure. But you know this, Jordan, like the way the gears grind, it's like, and I don't want to just say Syracuse, the way the gears grind in academia, I don't know what a new chancellor is getting put in there. Obviously, they announced today the search committee for the new AD, and it's got Mike Tirico's on it. It's got board of trustees people.
Shout out Coach Mack.
Ian McIntyre. Yes.
A little bit of international flavor in that thing.
You've got a dry, sarcastic British guy in there who's going to needle you all, and the fact that Mack's on it is fantastic. I love that guy. I think he and Tirico will be fast friends. Mike's probably, they're in a commercial at the Olympics right now. Mike's probably hosting a Zoom, like working on the chancellor on like one screen, and in freaking Milan on the other hand, he's like, keep an eye on that luge where it's doubles. There's two people there. They're stacked up. I don't know. Like the order of operations of this I find fascinating because in theory, the right order or the normal order for this would be chancellor, AD, basketball coach. I don't think you're going to get to do that order. So this is going to be fascinating to watch, and I hope it's not fascinating in a depressing way. But it's going to be fascinating. Like the next month, 6 weeks is going to be wildly interesting.
For sure. And again, I don't think this is a hot take. I think this is putting two and two together. And her name might have just came up in, like, they got some issues going down with Pitt Athletics right now.
Yeah, they do.
And I believe someone told me that
by FLJ
Heather. Yeah, that too.
They got worked.
But someone told me Heather Lake's name was in there. Yeah. I didn't read the whole report, but
she was the AD just quickly glossing over the story there. Heather Lake, put by Kent Syverud in positions in the university athletic department, was the AD at Pitt, who gave the terrible contract to Capel, has hired two atrociously bad women's basketball coaches. The current one, who has a losing record and got absolutely slaughtered by Syracuse tonight, is also getting sued by 6 of his former players, essentially for Coach Qing it, give or take a few things, and just the chef's kiss, tie it all together from a Cuse perspective. In the Athletic article by Chantel Jennings, who also wrote the Athletic article on Q, apparently the whistleblower within the Pitt athletic department on all of this was assistant coach John Markham, who was an assistant coach on the Q staff when it all happened with Q and was here the year after and is now at BC. So I get, like, knowing John a little bit, that guy's out of his mind nuts, but you know, he's like, we've talked plenty about that when it all went down in the year after. Like, he probably was like, not again am I going through this. He tells everybody, and from the reports anyway, who knows what really happened. Allegedly, nobody did a damn thing, including Heather Like.
Yes.
I just say, like, yeah, and she's maybe the next athletic director? Yo,
and that's where I'm going, right?
It's
like,
just like,
so one, minds can change. 2, maybe it wasn't the plan, but don't try and tell me that she was hired around the time John Wildhack extended his contract a year, which he said was so he could see if he could handle the demand of the job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like, whether or not she actually gets that position, I find it very hard to believe those things are coincidences.
Yeah,
so
like, we don't believe in coincidence.
She took that
right?
job. Yeah, she had to have taken that job, at least thinking she had a fast track to being the AD. And again, it's very on brand for Syracuse to hire within. It would make sense if Wildhack had 1 year left to be like, all right, let's see what's happening here. Like, are you ready for this? Let's get on the same page. So again, minds can change. I can be wrong, but it just doesn't. It doesn't seem like she just took that special advisor, assistant, whatever job just to do that and then leave.
No, she just happened. And I forget the exact details. I think she and Kent's go back. I don't know if it's to law school or something like that. There's some pre-existing relationship. Like, stuff doesn't happen in this industry by happenstance or by accident. Like, do we know what's happened? No. Am I factually reporting anything right now? No. But we're observers of the room. Like, we're in the room, we're looking around, and sometimes, like a lot of times, most of the time, 1 + 1 = 2. What's crazy is, like, from my perspective, the reason I would not want to hire her as the athletic director is the Jeff Capel situation. Like, your men's basketball hire, he's made 1 tournament in 8 years, and you extended him until the freaking next decade. Like, that's atrocious. Ironically, from the Syracuse perspective, this women's basketball thing, if things fall out in a crazy way, might actually carry more weight because people are going to be like, "Yeah, we can't do that. We can't have that on." So the whole thing's bizarre, and who knows? Maybe she'll be the AD in a month. Maybe she'll just vanish from the face of the earth, and we'll never see her here again. I don't know. You don't know. Nobody knows. But there's just so many random ties right now. It's hilarious. This is why it's fascinating to me. Like, I don't know if it's good. Like, this may all be terrible for Syracuse, but there's so much stuff happening. Like, I feel like that meme with I'm putting all this stuff up. The Always Sunny meme, that it's something nutty's gonna happen here in the next 6 weeks, and I don't know what.
I will say 7 people is a rather large search committee if the person is in the room with you already.
Yeah, she's just like, I'm
like, that is impressive smoke and mirrors if they have a search committee.
Yeah, 7-person search committee. You hire the outside search firm to do a national search, and then hire the person in your backyard. Hey, it's been done before. It's been done before. I don't know. I'll be fascinated to watch.
Somebody's still got time, by the way. Like, they can pull the Fran Brown route. Somebody still has time to just call John Wildhack and ask for a job.
Like, John's retired. Like, he might just pick up that phone again and be like, "Who are you? Coaching, you say, huh? Where at? How's it going? Interesting. You've got a plan? Let's keep this conversation going."
It worked the first time.
Hey,
well,
it worked
I mean,
for
I guess It worked for a year anyway. We'll see. Results to be
It worked
determined.
for Fran. It worked for Fran the whole time. Like, it worked great for him. So, like,
by the way, I will note, Fran, I believe he left after the first overtime.
all right.
He did his best.
He's like, I don't think my guy's getting in the game. Does Fred watch the game, or is he just staring at Calvin Russell? Like,
yeah, dude. Okay. Like, he's locked in, man. At one point, this is how few people were there. There was like a stretch where it was just him and the people he came with sitting there, not being bothered.
Okay.
That's how few people were there. Fran Brown gets bothered when he is existing in a Syracuse atmosphere, and yeah, like, he had time to chill for a little bit.
Like, Fran's a guy, like, we all know this, like, the way he portrays himself, it's not portray, like, the way he is, like, people want to go say hi to him just because, you know, like, you're gonna get a good 30 seconds to a minute or whatever. Yeah, that's rare that Fran is just let be for a few minutes. Maybe that's why he left. He's like, some of this, I need to go find some place where some people are willing to come hang out. This is BS. I'm Fran Brown.
He's like, so this is what people do at basketball games, huh?
It's like, has this game been happening the whole time? I thought this was this is why? Huh. We should do this more often.
Oh, man.
Shout out Fran Brown. Yeah, I don't know. I said this, you know, speaking of looking forward and all this, I did Josh Schertz today, St. Louis coach, they're 23-1. He, at the moment, is the hottest mid-major coach in America. I don't think that is really that debatable.
No, his Twitter's awesome, by the way. Like, he is very exciting on Twitter, dude. He's, like, making jokes about, like, when his kid was on this list of top whatever coaches' sons scoring in the country, he posted something like, kid's mom's going to be all over me now about playing time. And, he posted something. He was at like a bar after one of their wins, like buying rounds. Like, he's way too fun to be a basketball coach.
We like that, but
he's electric.
Like, I've done 5 people so far in this series. One of them is Rick Pitino, who the whole point of doing that was to tell everyone that Rick is not going to be the next head coach. The other 4 that we've done are Jerry. We've done your best friend Matt Langle down the road. And we've done two of the hotter up and comers like Schertz, and then Brian Hodgson, who's at USF right now, and he got a big win the other night at Wichita State. And Hodgson has ties to the Lallies and ties to Western New York and the whole thing. And I said this, if it's John Wildhack, if it's a committee, if it's Heather Like, if it's insert person here, if it's any and all of these people, I think those 4 are the ones that have to get a call, right?
Yeah. Now, what about, where do you stand on Hop? Not to spoil the episode, I'm sure you're going to do.
How would Hop be on the list? I don't, you know.
His name's been coming up more than I ever thought it would. And at first I was like, okay, it's just like, Hop. Like, yeah, but like, it's being talked about way more than I expected.
I suppose maybe you give him a call. I just think we're
alum would like it, I'm sure.
Yeah,
like, popular guy amongst alum,
Hop.
obviously.
I mean, Hop's the best, but I think we're past that point, realistically. But sure, as far as actual people that I can see, like, those are the 4. I'm not saying that the next coach is one of those 4, because I think beyond that, there's a lot of different directions you could go depending on whatever you're thinking at the time or whatever makes sense. But I think those 4 at least get I don't even want to say interview. They at least get a, hey, what's up? We were just thinking about you. And
you up?
Yeah. And then
just finished double OT against Cal, WYD.
Yeah. Oh, man. Schertz is the most interesting because he's going to be, like, out of that group, he's the one where there's going to be presumably significant competition for his services this offseason.
I can't see it, man. I can't see it. I just think, like, and I've said it before, and sorry to be this guy, and what do I know? Maybe they'll unleash the big bucks. Maybe he would want to come here, but just with how poppin' his name is in the college basketball streets right now, if somebody wants him, like one of these, for example,
like Ohio State is potentially going to be open this year if they miss the tournament.
Yeah, and I mean, besides, what was it? After the awesome Kansas Arizona game. They were talking about how the Big 12 is as good as it's ever been, 6 legitimate title contender. Well, why do you think that is? Right? And it's not going to be one of those 6 title contenders, but say another team in that conference needs a coach, or as you said, a Big Ten something. If somebody really wants them, they can back up a Brinks truck that I don't think Syracuse is going to back up. And I'll leave it at that because nobody wants to hear that. And that's, what people don't want to talk about and some don't believe. But it's going to be way too competitive. It would be very hard to land him if other schools want him, I think.
I would be like and who knows, because he's, I don't know his whole life story, but he was born in Brooklyn, so he has a New York history. A lot of his, early days coaching time was in the Southeast, and his very recent successful coaching time, Indiana State and St. Louis, here in the Midwest, which is the Big Ten footprint. So potentially he can work anywhere. And I'm not saying he's a miracle worker. He's just he's the hot name this cycle. The hot name of a cycle generally gets a big job. Syracuse remains a big job. But to your point, like, Syracuse is say Ohio State's open. Syracuse is a bigger basketball job than Ohio State. But, to your point, like, if Ohio State feels like just throwing a barrel of cash at him or, mystery coach X, they got it if they want it. And Syracuse can't outbid them. Like, somebody could pick Syracuse over Ohio State, like, hey, I love the history, I love the tradition, I grew up watching Jim Boeheim, whatever, I want to be a part of that thing. I don't know, like, heck, Jim Boeheim once turned down the Ohio State job, if you would go back far enough in the day, just to use that one comparison. So, like, Syracuse still has that national pull, I think, but, yeah, if it comes down to sheer dollars and cents, like, hey, is Syracuse going to pay the most to get the most interesting mid-major hot rising candidate this year? The answer is no. Like, they'll make a nice offer, I'm sure, but they could get outbid by any of those situations, which is why all right, who's the leaders? With the leadership unsettled, the money is unsettled because somebody has to say, yes, you can spend the money. And I realize, like, that all funnels down from the trustees, but somebody's got to greenlight a whole ton of money on whoever the next head coach is, and it's going to be that's yet another reason why, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff on this, to me, is bizarrely fascinating, Jordan, because we're never going to get told the truth on it, private school, all that stuff, but trying to put together the puzzle without the picture on the box is just going to be beyond fascinating here.
Here's what I'll say. The Wild Hack thing could all be a good thing, though, because especially if they're hiring somebody who's already within the university, they're going to do everything they can to set them up successfully. And, that does start in terms of basketball with the coach. So if you ever have a chance of getting that splashy hire that, you might think is out of the question, then maybe this is the time. I just love how much Jerry talk is still in the chat.
It's there.
Wait, what's there? You're saying?
No,
it's there. Yeah,
it's in the chat. It's in every comment. Like,
it's so polarizing. It's interesting. I never expected so many people to, and I get people want outside the family, but there's a large portion of people who are just like, no, Jerry, which is funny because it was yes, Jerry.
I'm getting both sides of it, Jordan. It's either the no, Jerry, we have to completely restart, or it's the, I can't believe this guy's not the head coach already. Clearly, he's the answer to the question. And
now or never, you're hearing with Jerry too?
Like, realistically, the answer with Jerry is in the middle. Like, he's a young head coach. He's growing. Is he ready? I don't know. Like, could he... Is there a chance he could do a great job? Sure. Is there a chance it could blow up? Sure. Is there a chance he'd be a better coach of Syracuse in 10 years? Yeah. Like, I don't know. The real answer with him is in the middle, but nobody's going down the middle with it. It is, like, as far apart as you can get. It's crazy. The board can, the board, yes, Tuna, are you speaking of the money? Yeah, the board, they got the purse strings. Like, that's why, of all the names on the search committee, of which there were 7, John Lally's name being on there was very noticeable because we know the amount of money that he has given. Like Steve Ballantyne's the head of he's the head of the trustees. Obviously, he's given tons of money to the university. You're not the head of the board of trustees if you haven't given tons of money to the university. Obviously, Mike Tirico has the very obvious sports tie. We love Ian McIntyre. The other people on there's like the general counsel for the university, the head spokesperson for the university, and whatnot. But I don't know. To me, John Lally being on there, that tells me that family, which is given a lot of money, like the letters on the side of the former Manley Fieldhouse that say Lally, it's a big font. Like it's an aggressively large font. That's interesting and I don't know which way it's interesting. Like I don't know who his personal I don't know who he favors to be. Like we hear they have some connection to the Hodgson thing because they live down there and they give money to USF also. But as far as AD, I don't know which way the wind blows with John, but I think that'll be interesting because, hey, if your biggest donor's on board with the AD hire, he might donate more money. That's good to know. I'm not saying he should get to choose, but his opinion on this I find very interesting. Very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, also, he deserves it. He's clearly trying to do whatever he thinks is going to help the university. So I'm, glad he's on there. And, a lot of the people, especially the names are people who have gone out there and really put out for the university. I mean, Tirico finds a way to sneak in Syracuse every chance he gets when he's on national TV.
Tirico,
it's a lot of people who care.
Did you see that? Every shot of Mike when they showed his journey from the Super Bowl to Milan, he's wearing a Syracuse hat or something the whole time. It's like, good on you, Tirico. God bless Tirico. All right, let's get a. Hang on, my mouse is acting wonky. Let's get a call in. Let's go out to Vegas. What's up, Nick? We're bringing our guy Nick out in Vegas.
What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
Howdy.
So you started talking about Lally right before I clicked this thing, so you kind of caught me in my mind, but that's okay. We can talk about it still. But I was just doing some simple math in my head, and $20.5 million times 10% is $2,500,000, right? Or $2,050,000, correct?
That sounds about right.
So that's what the revenue share is giving Syracuse basketball. So they have $2 million in revenue share to spend. And then the additional monies come from businesses and donors.
Yep.
So you have to take into consideration that Red has 2 years left on his contract.
That we believe that, yes.
We believe to be true, correct?
We don't know anything as, private university, but yes, we believe that to be true for an amount of money that we also
let's just say it's $2.5 million, because I don't think it's quite $3 million. So that's $5 million that they have to cover.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole point of the math and the numbers is what Jordan said. Shirts is going to demand a much higher payday than Jerry, than Langle, than Hutchins, than anybody really, because he's the hottest name on the market.
You'd think.
I think by default that eliminates Syracuse, because with the buyout and the limited revenue share that they're contributing, the donors don't have the money to make up the difference. Now you take into consideration the fact that John is on the board of trustees to help, or the board to find the new replacement for the AD. He's going to push Hodgson, like we talked about last night, Brian, even more so now.
Presumably.
It just doesn't, I just can't see a world where it makes sense to have Shirts be a candidate.
I still say you make him a candidate just because
you have to call him, I guess. Just
like,
say, hey, will you work for this?
Like if you call him and he blows you away, and you're like, wow, this is the guy. You got to at least find out if you can make the money work. But to your point, like my guess, like if you told me, guess what school Josh Church is coaching next year, I would just pick like Big Ten school with an opening.
You just said
Who can
Ohio State.
overpay?
It's open, right?
Well, it's not
I mean,
open. It's not open, but
If it
could be
becomes open, I'm saying, right?
But like, there's
exactly.
18 schools in the damn league. One of them will be open, right? Like somebody's getting fired in the Big Ten. It's big. Like there's 14 of them that are not on the West Coast. Like one of them will be open just by math. So if you told me to guess where he's going to be next year, I'll guess that. But like if you're Syracuse, like if you want to be big time, you got to at least act like you're in the game, right? You got to get in there. You got to pick up the bat.
You make the call, right? But realistically speaking, I don't see it. I just don't think that's a viable option because of the buyout.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Again, we don't know the terms of a buyout. Like, is it due now? Is it due later? Is there an offset? What kind of money would Red make with an offset situation if he goes and gets a lead assistant job at a decent school? Because he's...
And I could be wrong, but I just assumed that they would pay it as if he was still on the staff, right? So pay him each year for 2 years?
There's usually offsets written into those contracts that subtract out what you're making in your next job, and there's a lot of billable hours that go into making those things things what they are.
Well, but, again, I don't see Red getting a job as a next year anyway. I'm sure he'll take a year off. I mean, that would be my assumption.
I mean, it could. It depends. Some people like to dive right back in, and I'm sure he'd get a job as an assistant somewhere if he wants it. Some people like a breather. I mean, like Red looks like he's aged 8 million years. If I were him, I'd probably take a breather. Yeah. But some people, their breather is just diving back into the work and being out of sight, out of mind. So I don't know. But yeah,
I mean, that's a good point, though.
Like,
I mean, did you see him like the last couple of weeks?
Money, like Syracuse will owe him some money. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the stress is written all over him. You know what I mean? He's a shell of what he was when he took the job.
His eye bags have bags, and those have bags. He looks exhausted.
Yeah,
and
100%.
Yeah, he's aging like a president. I feel badly for him for that. It's just it's sad to watch, and then you wonder if there'll be some sense of relief when we get to the end of the whole thing here for him. But I don't know. You just wish it had gone differently. But yeah, the money aspect of this is fascinating because. Yeah, you're going to owe Red money. There's the math right now of how much money you're losing because the dome's not full.
Yep.
So you have to factor that into the whole thing of, we got to stop doing that. You've got rev share, you've got NIL, how much that's weighing on your donors. You have to keep up with that, or else your team's going to stink no matter who the head coach is. Like you could exhume John Wooden from his grave if you gave him no NIL budget, he'd get creamed in this day and age. And he had the best NIL budget back in the 60s. So I don't know. Like it's and I've said this now, and now John's retiring. I've said this for the last 2 or 3 years since NIL. Like, the most important job for an athletic director in this day and age is not the hiring of the coach. And it's not even the running of the athletic department. And yeah, those are important. The most important job for an athletic director right now...
generating revenue.
It's not even... it's generating the revenue, but it's making sure that you're able to generate revenue that's pointed in the right direction. It's getting your donors to give to the thing that you actually need and not just being like, hey, here's this amount of money, but you got to do this with it when you actually need to do that with it. So you make a really nice this when you needed that. Like, hey, we built a great building, but we needed players. Or, the other way. Or, hey, we got a really expensive coach, but we don't have a practice court. And it's never been more complicated because it changes every 7 minutes and there's lawsuits and there's... Like, hell, a judge today gave a freaking hour-long dissertation just to say that Trinidad Chambliss can play football again next year.
I saw that. That's so crazy.
Book.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
I was watching, reporters on Twitter. They're like, we're 40 minutes into this thing. And he's like, the NCAA lawyers were so sick. The NCAA lawyers got up and left because he wouldn't give the verdict because he's reading this thing. They're held in contempt of court, and he read for 45 more minutes before he said that Trinidad Chambliss can play football next year.
And while we're on that topic, I mean, what does the NCAA actually do right now? Absolutely nothing.
They get sued a lot.
Yeah, and they lose. So
that's what they do right now. They get sued a lot, and they put up a lot of blue stanchions at championship events. That's what they do right now. And they make sure that you pour your drink into the cup.
Did you get a chance to look at that list of possible replacements that the .com put out?
I saw it. I mean that it felt very boilerplate. I don't know. Like
Who's this? Forno or Forino something? He worked under Wild Hack, I think, a few years ago. Did you hear? Have you ever heard that name?
Hang on, let me pull up the list again to see who your potential candidates. This is from Mike Waters, Syracuse.com today. Tom Theodorakis, who was a backup long pole on the mid-2000s lacrosse team. Heather Lyke on the list, who we talked about. Andrew Goodrich, friend of... Oh, we lost Nick there. Nick is back. Friend of Jordan's booking for Orange Nation. Reggie Terry, who was formerly a big part of stuff Coach P had going on. He's now a senior associate AD at Boston College. Nick Carparelli, who's done a lot of things in the business, is now the executive director of bowl season. There were rumors he might have been in the mix when each of the last two times this job was open. Dave Benedict, who is the current UConn AD, and Ryan Bamford, who's the current UMass AD. Mark Jackson is the current Northwestern AD, who actually was on the Syracuse staff for, I think he might have only been here 1 year. It might have been two, right? He came in with Daryl Gross back in the day. So those were the 8 that...
The guy I was thinking of, Brent Axe, sent out a text message to his chat group, and it was DeFino was the last name.
Anthony
DIFINO. Yeah.
Okay. Anthony worked under John. He was the head of marketing for, among some other stuff, for a few years. The last few years, he moved on to Cincinnati to work for John Cunningham, who was the number 2 in the athletic department for the brief 9 months that Mark Coyle graced us with his presence. So they have united there. I don't that like I like Anthony. That would be a very big leap in responsibility to be to go into the big chair.
They said he's got a good knack for raising money. That was the reason to think about him.
Yeah, that wasn't. I mean, it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know what he's done at Cincinnati. That wasn't necessarily his role at Syracuse. Nick's camera's going crazy right now.
I don't know what the hell's wrong with my phone. I'm sorry. Like last night, it wouldn't come on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just got this damn thing.
It's like we're at a rave of some sort. I don't know. They're basically like almost. Almost this whole list here is the reasonable connection types, right? Save for the UConn AD and the UMass AD. Except those are, pick 2 Northeast ADs out of a pile. I'd love to hear some people Mark Coyle had zero. Now he didn't stay very long. Mark Coyle got hired with 0 connections to Syracuse. He was just an AD that was on the rise. I'd love to know, all right, who's in that pile that you might be able to go get right now. And I don't know. I don't necessarily see that on this list of just hey, here's somebody that's doing well in the space. Let's kick the tires on them, as opposed to, hey, we looked out the door and these guys were out here, so we thought we'd talk to them.
Well, if you decide to do who's next for the AD, that would be really cool, because I think that's a really important position to fill.
Hey, we were kicking that around earlier this morning, Nick.
I heard you. I heard it this morning. Yeah,
we may. It's harder to do because it's just not as interesting to talk about, and nobody knows who the people are. But it's, I mean, it's arguably way more important. And for one, unlike the Who's Next we're doing, which is unfortunately, actively insulting the current head coach. Apologies to Red. This one is not insulting John because he's announced he's leaving. So it would actually do that. All right. So yeah,
guys, I'm gonna have to go because this camera is getting me drunk. I think I don't know what the hell's wrong with it. But I'm dizzy as a
me too.
bastard
I'm
now.
enjoying it. I don't know about anybody else. It's all right.
This is wild.
Thanks for calling it.
All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Thanks.
There's our guy Nick in Vegas, whose camera was on the good stuff. Yeah.
Oh my god.
That.
Speaking of the good stuff, Brian, and hello Super Cat, hello LA Orange. Everybody's going to be disappointed here. Been going for about an hour and change. I'm down to 1 headphone, which is telling me it's on low battery.
Okay, that tells us we better wrap up soon.
I have an exciting eggnog concoction.
Okay.
while I'm grabbing it and trying it, can Syracuse actually beat Maryland?
Can Syracuse beat Maryland? I did no wrong answers on live in the 315 this morning, and for those of you that were with us, no, we do not have a new AD, Ellie Arch. For those that were with us, and for those that were not, I did the whole thing, the no wrong answers, to this, to that, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. I got to the end, and I said the score will be 14-13, and then I paused for a really long time to think about who was going to win, and I picked Maryland. But
Okay.
can
Yeah,
Syracuse win the game? Yes. I think it's going to be a great game.
I hope so.
And then perhaps set them up for the rest of the season to chase them down to Memorial Day or some such. What? What?
Ready for this, Brian?
No. What is happening in that bowl?
So, my new taffy isn't arriving until tomorrow. So here's what's happening. I still had some leftover. Power's off, Brian. So I'm not hearing anything. Say something. All right, yeah, we're just quiet. Okay, so here's the deal. There is a. I'm going in silent here. So there's some of the freeze-dried eggnog taffy. There is some of the eggnog jelly beans. There is some of the instant eggnog mix, and there was some milk.
Oh.
Went in a microwave to kind of blend it together.
Oh.
Went in the freezer to try to make it like some ice cream.
Oh no.
If it had another hour, this might have worked.
No.
But it's not. I mean,
Oh.
Yeah, so this is what's happening.
No. Don't do it.
I'm gonna try because Brian, we just had a double OT game, right? So we had to go extra. I don't want to do this.
It looks lumpy. It's in. He's not dead yet. He's going back for more?
Oh, it's cold.
I hope it's cold. It was in the freezer. Oh, man.
It tastes like eggnog ice cream, I guess.
Not good one. All right, Jordan, for next week or sometime, I got to get this to you. I've showed this to you already. My mom...
we got a problem. Can't hear you.
Yeah, you can't hear me. So just
jelly bean. He's talking. The jelly beans did not melt in the microwave, so they're just frozen and they're hurting my teeth.
Oh man, Jordan's gonna need a dentist. He can't hear me. His headphones have died. Anyway, my mom sent like the last holiday nog cookie, sell by date Jan 19. So I got to deliver these to Jordan so he can have some holiday nog cookies at some point. All right. With that, we're going to end the show. Jordan can't hear me. Jordan's eating. I don't even know what to do with that. It's just, Jordan's going to die, so we're going to turn off the program before we have a on Zoom death. But that's what we're doing. Good. Yeah. Yeah.
I can't do a player comp because it's just other players. Like, this is already a bunch of other players. So how could it, like, that's not how it works. You don't combine 3 players and get a new player who's on the team. That's not how it works.
Yeah, that would ruin the whole eggnog ranking system. And with that, I'm going to wave so Jordan knows we're ending the show. We're waving. Jordan's going to die. Tomorrow night, everybody. Lax at 6. Post-game show after. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks for watching the 315 with Brian Higgins. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn your notifications on. We'll see you next time.